Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. I am Ahmed Mari and I'm gonna talk today about one of the easiest question you can get in the exam, the USMLE exam, and you don't wanna miss it. From my experience, so many students are confused about it, so I thought maybe I can make a video to explain it. So the question says, what is the most suitable statistical test to be used? And the answers are gonna include, I think you have seen these answers before, t-test, chi-square, ANOVA, regression analysis, correlation analysis. These are the different answers you might see in the answer choices. Okay. And in order to be able to answer this question, first, we have two probabilities, two possibilities. You can either have one variable in the question being compared in two or more groups, or you might have more than one variable, meaning two variables, okay? Two variables. So if you have one variable being compared in two or more groups, then you have two possibilities. This variable can be continuous or it can be categorical. And first, we need to differentiate between what is a continuous variable and what is a categorical variable. And from the name, categorical means categories. Categories. So it's about groups. So for example, if we are talking about sex, we have two groups, males and females. If we are talking about a question that ends with yes and no, then we are talking about groups, yes and no. If we are talking about severity of a disease, then we are talking about stages of severity. So this is groups, categories. This is the meaning of categorical variable. A continuous variable means it's a number, okay? And if you want to cheat in the question, they might mention that they calculated the mean. If they mention that they calculated the mean, this means this is a continuous variable because the mean can only be calculated in continuous variables like age, for example, level of something, hemoglobin A1C level, for example. If you can calculate the mean, it's a continuous variable. But for categorical variable, they're going to calculate the prevalence or frequency. So prevalence or frequency of males versus females, for example. If you have one continuous variable, you use the t-test. If the question is asking about one categorical variable, then you use chi-square test. If the question mentions it's more than two groups, the answer is going to be always ANOVA test. And this is the most frequent question in the exam, to be honest. ANOVA, when they give you three or more groups, they want ANOVA. Okay? Analysis of variance. What if we have two variables in the question? If we have two variables in the question, then we have three probabilities. The two variables can be continuous, or one continuous and one categorical, or the two variables can be categorical. If the two variables are continuous, we use correlation analysis. Okay, if one is continuous, one categorical, then we use regression analysis. If both are categorical, again we use a chi-square test. And in the exam, they won't make you choose between these two, usually. Okay, so let's have a couple of scenarios to apply what we just said. What if, say, we are trying to see the association between smoking frequency and development of lung cancer? What types of variables are we dealing with? Smoking frequency is categorical, and development of lung cancer is also categorical because it's gonna be yes or no. So this will be chi-square test. Next scenario is gonna be, what if we are trying to see the association between, let's say, meat consumption and ferritin level? Of course, ferritin level is gonna be a continuous variable. This is obvious. And meat consumption is reported as kilos per week. So this is again a continuous. Two continuous variables? Yes, correlation. What if we are trying to study, let's say, the ferritin level in more than three groups and what test? Okay, so these are the different probabilities. Let's have another example. So what if we are trying to compare the blood pressure before taking a drug and after? Blood pressure is again a continuous variable, and this is just one variable, so we are gonna use t-test. And specifically, we would use paired t-test. If it's the same group, guys, if it's the same group, but before and after, we use the paired t-test. If we are trying to compare the blood pressure, but in two different groups, meaning in women versus men, then we are gonna use independent t-test. This is just a small extra detail. So these are the different probabilities you can have. If we have one variable, we look if it's continuous, we use t-test. If it's categorical, we use a chi-square test. If we has two variables, then if the two are categorical, we use a chi-square test, like this example, lung cancer and smoking frequency. If two are continuous correlation, if one is continuous, one is categorical, we use regression and keep an open eye to know, okay, what is my variable? What is the variable I'm dealing with? I deeply suggest that you go to your lid right now and do some questions on that. It's gonna be so easy for you, and you don't want to miss this question because it's a must in the exam.